Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of The Bottom Line here from the Carlucci Broadcast International Studios. I'm your host, Mike Carlucci, and with me, my good friend, and he knows a lot of things, Mr. Richard Boddie. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Mike. Good to be here.
Well, our topic today is, James Bond's been around for many years. Ian Fleming wrote a great character over there in his little hut, little townhome over there, that island in Jamaica, and it just became a phenomenon for the last 55, 60 years. Great character, and the foundation's been built for James Bond, Richard, as you know, as a Caucasian British secret agent. And they've had many Bonds over the years. The best, of course, the first one, the original Sean Connery. Then Roger Moore took over. But in between, there was a stop there for George Lazenby, by the way, who's a great guy. He just had not the best actor. Yeah. And he's a pretty good golfer, too, by the way, Lazenby. But then after that was Roger Moore. And then, of course, we moved on. After Roger Moore, we got into Timothy Dalton, who was a terrific, maybe too good of an actor to play Bond, because he's a Shakespearean trained stage actor. And then after that, we had the TV guy, Pierce Brosnan. We'll talk about what we thought about all of them. And then, of course, after that was probably a really good choice, Daniel Craig. But now Craig's been doing quite a few Bonds now, and he's probably going to do one, maybe no more than two. So people are hinting, who's it going to be? There's a bunch of different choices they have out there, even not even British actors, American actors. But they're even thinking about going into a different ethnic feeling. Maybe the great Idris Elba, great British I guess he would call him African-British, right? British-African actor. This is a superb actor, but there's a lot of controversy because of the character with the foundation being a Caucasian. And what's your take on that?
I think it's cool. I think when you can cross over a character with a good actor, it matters not what the ethnicity is. The viewer immediately will say, oh, that's James Bond, if it's well done. If it's just because of ethnicity, if it's an affirmative action plan, and you don't see if the guy has any talent or is not quite up to par,
right? If it's like Will Smith thrown in there or something like that.
Will would not be a good James.
No, but you're saying just throw a black guy out there,
But I think that would be something that would draw people to go pay their money to at least see it. I saw not a Bond thing, but I saw the Black Panther. Everybody, all my black friends are saying, "Oh man, you gotta see it! It's really great." Oh, the concept, blah blah blah. I went to see, I got the DVD, or I'm glad I didn't go to the movie. I'm not into the fantasy thing like that. And so halfway through, right, the bar fight started. I fell asleep at that point. I said, doesn't quite do it for me. That was one where someone took a chance, and it really worked with the masses. Along those same lines, I think the Bond thing would work exactly along those lines if the actor was good. I personally am not into whatever they call, I forget, like comic book thing, like fantasy. There's a word they use for it.
There's another word. But it's in the nature of the comic book.
Whatever
fantasy.
Whatever they call that kind. I can deal with fantasy like one of the greatest movies I've seen in years was Roman J. Israel Esquire with Denzel Washington.
Oh man, we talked about that before. That's a great film.
That was a fantasy, but the fantasy was realistic. But I don't have people flying around and inventing a different country in the middle of Africa because everybody there is better than Eddie Murphy's Coming to America type people. But I think that the Bond transition would work.
Well, my feeling is, Richard, and I'm sure a lot of people agree, is I have no problem with Idris Elba because he's suave. He's very suave and personal and manly, the whole thing. I think what people kind of are doing a tug war on this is because of the foundation. The character was, written as a Caucasian, British, and I think maybe the other opinion, and I kind of I'll throw my hat in the ring for maybe create an MI6 character and make maybe a separate. Don't have Idris Elba come in playing a James Bond type spy, different name though, but have him like 008, 009. There's tons of 00s, and create a whole separate series. Then the people would love it and be a different kind of genre, but similar to James Bond. But then there's always the argument, because some people would say, well, okay, if Idris Elba is going to be the next Bond, a British African. Well, why not? Why can't Matthew McConaughey play Shaft? Right? Good point, right?
Well, that's close because in
Yeah.
the movie that's out right now,
Mm-hmm.
he's in it, and it's about a young white kid
Mm-hmm.
who's a street hustler.
The new kid, something white man boy or white boy man or white
it didn't
something.
get good reviews, but
Yeah.
McConaughey might pull it off. Not
Yeah.
everybody else, but he could do it.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, but
I know what you
Shaft
mean.
is
I
an
know.
African American
Yes,
cop raised in
yes,
Harlem. He's a
yes.
New York East Coast
Yes,
guy.
yes.
Matthew, you just can't. So I think that's the thing. So that's
Yeah.
why with the Bond thing,
Yeah.
I just think in a way it's kind of untouchable. Bond stays white.
Yes.
Idris Elba, African American, British
Yes.
African, whatever. Create a whole new character,
I
and then
agree.
same with Shaft. He's got to be black. He's
Yeah,
got to be an
that's
African American. Matthew McConaughey, I don't know, man. A white guy becoming Shaft, kicking butt, and a white guy raised in Harlem. It's a tough call. It's a tug of war, and it's a debate we can talk about all the time. So it'll be interesting. But here's the thing too, Richard, is Idris Elba though. He looks great, like yourself. You look fantastic for your age. Now, Idris Elba though is hitting his early 50s right now. So by the time Daniel Craig is done, he's going to be between 55 and 60.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll look great, and he keeps himself in shape. But I think the problem is, because you figure if Alba was going to be Bond, you don't want him just to do 1 or 2 movies. You want him to do like 3 or 4, maybe even 5.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to probably push that aside and move back and get one of those actors, up and coming actors, somewhere in like between mid to late 30s, like when they got Daniel Craig. But so let's go on this way. So let's kind of rate the Bonds. I'm a big fan of Sean Connery because I think he was the original, right?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's the other 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy that followed Bond.
George Lazenby.
No, not him.
Well, Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
But let's talk about Lazenby. Lazenby, for those who don't know, Lazenby. See, when Sean Connery decided to walk away because he wanted a percentage of the box office.
Right.
In fact, all you big name A-listers out there, you got to thank Sean Connery because he was one of the first to say, "Hey, man, I want a piece of the action.
Right.
If I don't get it, I'm walking." And he got tired of the Bond role anyway. He wanted to start doing other things, but he would have stayed for maybe 1 or 2 more. But they said, "No, we're not going to do that." So that's when they did they were doing a search. And George Lazenby, all due respect, fantastic model, good personality, a little ego problem, I guess, from what I heard, and kind of hard to deal with. And the other thing was, like I say, he was a male model. He didn't really have a lot of acting training, and that was the problem. But he looked good. He looked the part. The problem was he didn't have a good voice. Actually, a lot of the scenes they had to dub somebody else's voice.
Yeah.
So the script on Her Majesty's Secret Service was a fantastic movie. Telly Savalas is Blofeld, but it just was because it's too bad it wasn't Connery. And then so Lazenby did one, and he claimed he was going to do a bunch, and they claimed he quit, but I don't think that was the story.
I would bet that.
They were trying to get Roger Moore forever, right? I mean, Moore was fantastic in a more sophisticated, more proper gentleman way.
Right.
Yeah.
He is more the British type.
Yeah.
It's a jolly good show.
Yes.
Well,
Not very athletic, but very. Would you like some tea and a little biscuit?
Exactly.
I mean, Connery is more like, I want the martini, and I'll drink it out of your shoe. You know what I mean?
Right. So both of those two are my favorites.
Yeah.
The rest, and the last guy, who you mentioned, whose name I even forgot.
Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
The current Bond, Daniel Craig.
I saw the first one he did, and we're in a casino. Was it Casino Royale or one of those?
Yes, that was his first one.
A little bit tough for me. I mean, it was just butt kicking going on. It was all
that scene. He's chasing the guy, and they're on. It was crazy. It was wild.
It was. I enjoyed Fletch when he did that around Long Beach by the Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, that was.
But
fun.
when the Bond guy started, that was a little bit too much for me.
Computer graphics helping out. Of course.
Yeah. Well, I never bought into too many. Pierce Bronson even.
Brosnan, by the way. A lot of people want to say Bronson. I used to call him Pierce Bronston too, but it's Brosnan instead of Bronson, like Charles Bronson. Yeah.
He was just there.
Well, he was a TV guy, Remington Steele. They tried to get him before they got Timothy Dalton, which we'll talk about in a second. But Pierce, you see him, it's like he's a TV guy, and he just didn't cut it for me.
Right.
The scripts were good, the films were good. He just
he was waiting for the next shoot, for the next week, for the next run.
Yeah.
But I'm a Bond guy, but Bond to me is always Sean.
Yeah.
And then
Daniel Craig.
Roger Moore.
Roger
Moore, or as we say in our Ebon, Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. Give me some more Moore, But so and going into a guy we kind of touched a bit, but we kind of skipped over because after Roger Moore quit, they got in Timothy Dalton, who did 2 Bond films, great films. But the only problem with Timothy Dalton, just too good of an actor, and if he was too intense. He seemed like he wanted to get out there and just do like Shakespeare and Hamlet, and he didn't seem comfortable. He looked good. He just I mean, he couldn't cut it. But he did 2 of them, and they wanted to do a third one, but he was getting to the age category that he was ready to move on. But here's a little trivia: that actually they approached Timothy Dalton before Roger Moore. But at the time, Timothy was too young, and he says, "No, I'm only like 24 years old. The Bond character's got to be somebody looks like in their 30s or mid 30s or whatever at the time." So Dalton left, and then they got in Brosnan for 4 films, maybe 5. I can't remember how many it was. I think it was at least 4, maybe 5. And then he was getting older, and they said, "Yeah, let's move into a different." Now they're actually going after 2 other actors, Colin Farrell, who, by the way,
I like
that. Yeah, but you know what? His eyebrows and his forehead looks like a young Sean Connery. So I thought Colin Farrell, but they kept saying he was too short. They wanted somebody pushing 6 foot or at least 6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
And then there was this other actor. Gosh darn it, I can't think of the name. Clive Owen, I think. Is it Clive Owen?
I just know the name.
Yeah, Clive Owen, I believe, is his name, and he was actually one of the top prospects. For some reason, it didn't work out, and then Daniel Craig got thrown in there, and he brought that toughness, the Sean Connery style. I think.
With Colin Farrell, I was interested, having seen the movie with Denzel.
Yeah.
I never realized his brogue until they went into the special scenes. You go watch the special scenes, and Colin Farrell was rolling his arse like that. So he's Scottish, just like
Connery.
Connery.
Yeah.
I liked him both ways. He might be short though, so you can't have a short James Bond. You got to have a taller James Bond.
I mean, they tried that with Don Adams when he was Maxwell Smart. And in '99, Barbara Feldon was like 4 inches taller, so they had to keep putting him on those lifts, and
like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and they figure with the CG stuff, they can't. It was impossible to have somebody 5'10". Clive Owen was the guy. I was trying to make sure that was the one who was. So I don't know who's going to be the next Bond. I know Alba's going to be too old by then, Idris Alba, but it'll be a mystery. They're also thinking about one of those guys in those actors playing some of the villains or the heroes in those comic book movies, like the DC Comics and the Marvel, the Avengers, and grabbing some of those. That Australian guy who's playing Thor maybe might be, So I'm hoping they just bring out some. Well, actually would be a good Bond, and I just heard that he is leaving the Superman role. Henry Cavill, I think his name is. He would be probably a pretty good Bond,
And it could be, and if it happens, you better contact his agent and get a cut, because they would have watched this and got off the idea and said, give it to him because Carlucci says to do
That's
that.
right, yes. And he's actually British, too, even though he's Superman uses his American accent. But
I love that, too, when they're able to do that.
Yeah.
And some of your acting gigs, have you had to be British and all that kind of stuff?
Well, it's funny that you brought that up. I did a film called... I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head because it was it was The Air I Breathe. They changed the title a couple times, so it was called The Air I Breathe. Great cast, great actors. One of those indie films, small showing.
Right.
Andy Garcia was in it, Brendan Fraser, Kevin Bacon, and some other. I can't think of some of the gal that played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was in it too. Oh, and your guy and the guy who is the guy that played with Robin Williams in the movie Good Morning Vietnam. Who's the black guy? Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, Whitaker was one of the main characters. Actually, I did a voiceover in the film. I played a horse track announcer because in the scene he's betting on this horse to win, and I read it like Trevor. Trevor Denham is the great racetrack announcer. Used to be at Hollywood Park. Now he's over at Santa Anita. I did it American way. I went, here comes around the corner. Here he comes. I was doing the great. And then for giggles, I did it like Trevor Denham. I did an Aussie voice. Around the corner, there he goes. As for like comedy, just for fun. And they loved it. Everybody's laughing. But I didn't think they were going to use it in the movie. So then I watched the movie. I listened for myself. Yeah. They used the Aussie. So my Aussie accent got in there. Around the corner, there he goes. Great film, by the way. But it's called The Air I Breathe. They just didn't get a lot of notoriety because it was an indie film and it was one of those independent things that they only get like small showings. It's more of an arts. It was more of the artsy film, not there to make millions of dollars. But so that's the only time I got to an Aussie accent. So But it is cool. Watching some of these actors, and later you find out they're British. Like what's the Homeland movie or the Homeland TV show? Great show, by the way, on Showtime. The first soldier, I can't think of his name, but he's either an Aussie guy or British. He played an American soldier. So he had a great American accent. And I remember one time I watched a couple of movies with the great late Lawrence Harvey. Yeah. British. He played a couple characters. He actually played a Texan too. Lawrence Harvey. He was in a movie one of Jane Fonda's first movie. It was called "Take a Walk on the Wild Side." He played a Texan, so he talked like this. Hey, how you doing there, boy? And it was, let's Lawrence Harvey gets British. He did a fantastic. I
love that.
Yeah.
I love it when they can do the crossover like that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I enjoy doing is dialects. Obviously, you know me for that.
Oh yeah.
And when I do certain dialects, especially on the telephone. People have no idea what I look like. Yeah. I can do the very British and very uptight like this. And
yes.
Chat like that.
That's right.
A jolly show. Yeah. And they're sort of mumbling like that, not making much sense.
That's right. But you still know what you're saying.
Right.
Well, here's a funny story. When I worked in Beijing at the Olympics, our actually our executive producer was from Australia. Literally, this guy, you did not understand what he was saying. And I'd be on the phone because I was in charge of the baseball production over there, 2 venues for baseball. And he was a go-between, and I needed some help for instance, getting some stuff, their supplies or some kind of managerial stuff. And so I'd be on the phone, I would say, I won't give his name up, but I would say, I need this guy to come in, and we need this stuff for the video replay machine for the scoreboard. He would go, bring him over there, no problem. And then one time I said, can you repeat yourself one more time because I can't really hear. Pretending that it was the cell phone problem, but actually I just couldn't understand what he was saying. So all of a sudden he's going, and I'm going, in my mind I'm going, you know what? I'm not going to keep asking, hey, what'd you say? So I would just say, yeah, okay. I would just agree with him, even though I don't know what he was saying. So, like you said, the British are mumbling, and is he the British or African?
Yeah. Or my guys I grew up with, hey, Tone, Lou, me. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
As you guys do.
Yeah, paisans.
I kid people. I'm
Goombas, yeah.
Hey, Kumba. Hey, yeah. Guido is from Brooklyn. He has a crooked nose like this.
That's right.
But I do on the telephone. They have no idea who I am. So finally, I say to the person, I say, I can usually tell if it's an African American lady or a guy in the service thing. And they have no idea what I am. So then I'll drop into my black accent. Yeah. And say, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, man.
That's all you do.
I said, I know you're black.
Yeah.
She said, the girl said, well, how do you know that? I said, well, just something about having grown up all my life, in my 80 years almost now.
Oh, you gave your age away. I was going to keep it as a surprise. That's okay.
All right.
Well, you got a big birthday coming up, so.
Yeah, I do. We have a big party coming up, man. Yeah. I never dreamed that I'd be close. I had a 70th in 2008, and then I had 75th. You were at that one.
Yeah.
And I never dreamed that we'd have. This is going to be a good one too.
I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
Yeah.
So the accents and the different dialect.
It's James Bond. And the Scottish background.
Yes, but like I said, it's going to be a question mark. Who's going to be the next Bond after Daniel Craig goes? And Craig kind of was pulling everybody their chains, saying, I don't want to do it anymore. And then all of a sudden, he saw the dollar signs. Yeah. He goes, I'll do at least one more, maybe 2. So
I love to see what that happens. The bargaining in the public eye.
Yes.
Subtle bargaining.
Variety magazine just loves that shtick. But no, so it's called Bond. They don't even have a title yet. It's called Bond 25. I hope they pick up because the last one, Spectra, was kind of it was good, but it was a disappointment. I was expecting more. And the villain, that Aussie actor he's a phenomenal actor. He was in that Inglourious Bastards. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's the new Blofeld, and they didn't use him enough in that film. I'm hoping that they piece that together and just make it tight, make it a really good film. And they just hired a new director for that Bond, by the way. I'm going to look for it right now here real quick because he's the first American director going to direct a James Bond film because all the directors were obviously British. Right. And he's actually Japanese Caucasian. He's from Oakland, California. It was a big thing here. I'll dig it up here. But go ahead and fill the void. Okay. No, it's like, so
I'll tell you, no respect at all.
Yeah, Bond 25 is what it's called.
When I was a kid, my family moved a lot. I found them every time.
Yeah, and the new Bond director here, as we see here on the other screen, it's Kerry Joji Fukunaga. And he's 40, is that 41? Doing my math, yeah, born in 77. He's 41. And he's obviously a good-looking guy. He's got a good presence, and he's obviously being trusted. So the producers, the Broccoli family, and Michael G. Wilson must think highly of him, and they hired him to direct a big film. So there you go, making history. First American to direct a British character.
Oh, jolly good. I think that's really cool, and you'll have your opportunity too one day, Mike.
I like to play a villain. But I'm not an A-lister, so no, I have to use Aussie accent. So anyway, so the Bond thing is, we'll find out who's going to be the next Bond. I'm sure in the next year or so, once Daniel Craig decides to walk away. But like you said, Connery was the man.
Yes.
Moore was the sophisticated, like a Simon Templar, which of course he played the Saint. Dalton, too serious of an actor, too good of an actor. Name's escaping me. George Lazenby looked good, but just didn't have any acting experience. Pierce Brosnan was too commercial, too TV character like, and then of course Daniel Craig's doing a phenomenal job. So, but anyway, that's our topic for today. Who will be the next Bond? Will it be still a Caucasian British guy, or will it be a British African Idris Elba? They will have to wait and see. But of course, it's only time will tell.
Or an old Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Stallone, hey, 007, hey, Moneypenny, come over here, Stallone, Mr. Stallone, yeah, Sylvester Stallone, but, and Schwarzenegger would say, hey, Moneypenny, come here, sit over here, get out.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you very much. Folks, thanks for tuning in. By the way, subscribe, please do, we appreciate that. More shows coming up. Our next topic, we're going to go dwindle into sports. So we'll probably talk about the baseball playoffs in our next week. By then, of course, the playoffs will be taking place. Richard Boddie, again, always great to have you aboard. Thank you so much. And by the way, like I said, do subscribe. And any comments or details you need, by all means, please do make a comment there at the bottom. And we're still working on that Twitter page. You could be patient with that if you will. My name is Mike Carlucci, Carlucci Broadcast International. By the way, until next week we chat, remember to search and dig deep, because maybe you'll find the bottom line. That's the bottom line for now. We'll see ya, and have a great week. Ciao.